Hi, first grade. Today we are going to learn a new kind of stroke that we will use to write some letters. So first I'll show it to you and I want you to watch. The new kind of stroke we're learning is called a dash stroke. A dash stroke goes in the direction we read and write, which is this way. And it is the length of a clock space, or it's the length of a clock space. Okay, so when we make our dash stroke, we know it's going to be a dash stroke, but it can start in different points. So I'll try starting it halfway between the dotted line and the baseline because that will be one place that we will start it. So I start halfway between the dotted line and the baseline this time, but our dash stroke doesn't have a given starting spot. So if we know it's a dash stroke letter, we also have to find out where the starting spot is going to be. For this one, I'll start at halfway between the dotted line and the baseline, and it's just a dash stroke in the direction we read and write for the length of a clock space. Watch one more time. So all of our dash stroke letters, of course, start close to the margin or to the last line that we wrote. And you move your pencil in the direction we read and write for the length of a clock space. Right, and oops. Sorry, I couldn't find the paper I was looking for and it was right in front of me. I thought I paused the video, but I didn't. All right, so if you can find this paper in your folder, this one has a dot halfway between the dotted line and the baseline on the top line. And then the bottom line, it's at the dotted line. So this is the paper we're going to be using today for our dash stroke letters. So first I want you to get this out. You can pause the video, just practice making a couple of dash strokes here on the first line. Make it just as long as a clock stroke is wide. All right, now that I know about my dash strokes, I'm going to come over and put them here on our poster where we've got our 5 different kinds of strokes. So we practiced 3 our first day of lessons. Now we've learned a new one, which is our dash stroke. And remember, our dash stroke can start in different spaces. So I'll do this one how we just practiced it, starting halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. But it doesn't always start there. It's just in the direction we read and write and the length of a clock stroke. All right, now that we know how to make a dash stroke, we can start to write some dash stroke letters. All right, this is our first dash stroke letter. This one has 2 sounds. This says E. Say that with me, class. E. Excellent. Again, E. Now by yourself. Good. E. All right, watch how I write my E. It's a dash stroke letter. And since dash stroke letters don't have a starting spot, I have to know my starting spot. The starting spot for my E is halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. All right, I'm going to ask you, I'll say the answer. I want you to say it with me. Where do we start our E? Halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. All right. So I find my starting spot. I know that it's a dash stroke letter, so I start with a dash stroke. So it goes as long as a clock, or it goes the length of a clock stroke. I'm going to curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch So I want to touch the end of my dash stroke here. Touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. E. All right, watch again. It's a dash stroke letter, so I have to know my starting spot. Where's my starting spot? Say it with me, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. I make a dash stroke, which always goes in the direction we read and write, and it's the length of a clock stroke. I'm going to curve up and touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. E. All right, I don't really like this one because see how I didn't really make it. I think the problem is I made my line too big, right? But my dash stroke, I want, when I go around, I want to touch where I started. So this one, I'm going to actually cross it out and do it again. So watch one more time how I write it. So it's a dash stroke letter. I need to know the starting spot. The starting spot is, say it with me, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. I make a dash stroke that goes in the direction we read and write and is as long as a clock stroke. And I'm going to curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, touch 10, touch my starting spot, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. E. All right, now we'll do it together. So you get ready to write. We'll talk through our starting, or I'll talk through it with you, and you talk through it while you make the letter. All right, what kind of a letter is E? Excellent, it is a dash stroke letter. But that doesn't tell us the starting spot. So where's the starting spot? Halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. All right, talk through it with me. Make a dash stroke, curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, curve up to 4, and lift. What did you just write? E. All right, let's do it a couple more times. I'll keep talking through it with you for right now, but you talk through it as well. What kind of letter is E? Excellent, it is a dash stroke letter. And where's the starting spot? Good, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. All right, find that starting spot. Talk through it with me. Make a dash stroke, curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, curve up to 4, and lift. What did you write? Good, E. All right, we'll start another one. Remember, our dash stroke letters all start close to the last letter we wrote. So when you find your starting spot, it'll be close to that last E that you wrote. All right, where is the starting spot for E? Good, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. All right, talk through it with me, make a dash stroke. Curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, curve up to 4, and lift. What did you write? Good, E. All right, find your starting spot again. Where is it? Close to the last letter, of course, and good, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. Make a dash stroke. Curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, curve up to 4, and lift. What is that? Good, E. All right, we'll do one more. Let's make it as beautiful as we can. Find your starting spot. Where is it? Good, halfway between the dotted line and the baseline. And what kind of a letter is E? Good, it's a dash stroke letter. So we'll start with a dash stroke, curve up, touch 2, touch the dotted line, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, curve up to 4, and lift. What did you just write, class? Good, E. All right, there's only one other dash stroke letter, so we're going to go ahead and learn that, and then we'll know all of the dash stroke letters. So this is our next dash strokes letter. It says Z. Say that with me. Z. One more time. Z. And by yourself? Good. Z. All right. Now this is a dash stroke letter, but remember that does not tell us where the starting spot is. And you can see this one has a starting spot that is different than our last one. Even though they're both dash stroke letters, this one starts at the dotted line. All right, so watch how we're going to make our Z. So I'm going to start it close to the last letter or to the margin. I'll go ahead and put in a margin here so you can see that. This is one letter that sometimes gets flipped around, right, if we're not thinking about how we make it. So we want to make sure that we start it close to the margin or our last letter, and then we won't get it flipped around at all. So it's a dash stroke letter, and it starts at the dotted line. So I'm going to make a dash stroke. Remember, that goes in the direction we read and write, and it's the length of a clock stroke. Then I'm going to pull a slant stroke down to the baseline, and I'm going to make another dash stroke and lift. All right, so I want to end my second dash stroke right below where I ended my first dash stroke. All right, watch that one more time. So I'm going to start close to the last letter that I wrote. And where's the starting spot? Say it with me. At the dotted line. Good. And what kind of a letter is, what stroke does it start with? Good, it's a dash stroke letter. Starts with a dash stroke. So I'm going to find my starting spot. I'm going to make a dash stroke, which goes in the direction we read and write, and is the length of a clock stroke. Then I'm going to pull a backward slant down. That's going to be right below my starting spot. And then I'm going to make another dash stroke before I lift my pencil. Zzz. All right, I'm going to write it one more time. I want you to talk through it with me. So what kind of a letter is Z? Good, it's a dash stroke letter. And where's the starting spot? Good, at the dotted line. All right, so I'm going to find the starting spot. I'm going to say the sound Z. I'm going to make a dash stroke. I'm going to pull a backward slant down to the baseline below the starting spot. And then I'm going to make another dash stroke and lift. Z. All right, now it's your turn. Get ready to write. On your paper, you can see the second line is for your Z, because, see, we've got that starting spot there at the dotted line. All right, what are you going to write? Good, Z. And what kind of a letter is Z? Excellent, it is a dash stroke letter. And where's the starting spot? Good, it's at the dotted line. All right, talk through it with me as you write it. Make a dash stroke, pull a backward slant down to the baseline. That should be below the starting spot, and then make another dash stroke in the direction we read and write. All right, our dash strokes are always in the direction we read and write, so I'm not going to say that every time, and you don't need to say that every time, as long as you remember they always go in the direction we read and write. All right, so find your starting spot again. Where is it? Good, at the dotted line. All right, and what are you going to write? Good, Z. All right, talk through it with me. Make a dash stroke, pull a backward slant down to the baseline below the starting spot, and make another dash stroke in the direction we read and write. Okay, make sure you start it close to the last letter so we don't get it flipped around. Okay, find your starting spot. Where is it? Good, at the dotted line. All right, and close to your last letter. All right, talk through it with me. Make a dash stroke. Pull a backward slant down to the baseline below the starting spot, and make a dash stroke in the direction we read and write. What did you just write? Good. Z. All right, we'll do a couple more. Find your starting spot. Make sure it's close to your last letter. And where is it? Good. It's at the dotted line. All right, talk through it with me. Make a dash stroke. Pull a backward slant down to touch the baseline below the starting spot. And make another dash stroke in the direction we read and write. All right, one more. Find your starting spot close to your last letter, and remember, we always want to go in the direction we read and write. All right, so make a dash stroke. Pull a backward slant down to touch the baseline below the starting spot, and make another dash stroke in the direction we read and write. What did you just write, class? Good. Z. All right, excellent work. We learned how to make a dash stroke, and we learned both of our dash stroke letters. And next lesson, we're going to learn some more letters that are a different kind of stroke.